Welcome to the Corona Shift, the podcast that explores the changing landscape of Canadian performance art during the coronavirus outbreak. The world is but a stage? Not anymore, sucker. You butt's not... Sorry. We're canceled. We're closed. Each week I chat with a different guest about their experiences in isolation and how they're adapting to the transition from the stage to the online world. This is going to be a great show. We'll have comedians, drag artists, magicians, burlesque performers, strippers. That's right. We're the only podcast in the world that has strippers. Join us each week until this whole crazy pandemic is over, because I know you're locked up and you've got nothing better to do. And neither do I, really. That's why I'm doing this. I mean, I'm bored. It's been weeks since I've been outside. Somebody help me. Oh my god, how's it going, everyone? What's new? I guess that's something we won't be asking for long, right? What's new? Like, we're all just holed up in our little apartments, you know? The sun isn't out much these days, so like, is it 7 p.m. or 7 a.m.? What's new? I don't know. I took a nice leisurely stroll around the living room yesterday. I wore a thin spot on the rug. That's new. Just ate my last fresh vegetable. What's new? I discovered I don't hate spam as much as I thought. My girlfriend Trisha and I, we're both working from home now. That's really nice, you know? I make coffee for us in the morning and we make lunches together. We don't have to pack food. It's just there. It's nice. My dog's happy, so there's that. He's got really bad separation anxiety, so it was hard when we both had to leave for work every day. But now he's like living his best life, you know? He just spends the whole day walking back and forth between us, giving us his toys and asking for pets. He's loving it so much having us home. I'm actually starting to think this whole thing was his idea. I've started treating Trisha like a coworker, which is 100% for my own amusement and nobody else's. Like, I'll just walk up behind her and hover like, ugh, Mondays, am I right? You know, asking her how her weekend was, even though it's just, we've been sitting in the same room together since Friday, March 6th. And I'll ask her like, hey, did you see The Masked Singer? She'll just groan and say like, yes, Alice, we watched it together, remember? You said you think Alison Brie is the night angel? I do, though. Every once in a while, I'll send her an email like, hey, everyone, we're cleaning out the fridge on Friday, so if you don't want anything thrown out, make sure to label it. And then I'll just CC me and her. And the dog. I think I'm gonna start putting passive-aggressive post-it notes around the house. Like, tuna fish again, Trisha, really? Reminder, this is a scent-free environment, so please keep your farts to yourself. Pancho. We've got a great show for you today. I had a chat with Selena Vyle, who's currently seeking refuge at her parents' place in Ottawa. Pour one out for Ottawa, right? I loved having the chance to talk to her. I'm a huge fan. For those of you who don't know, Selena is a Toronto drag queen. She won a Canadian Comedy Award for her show, A Sketch Comedy Extravaganza Eleganza. And I actually got to work with her recently. I got to host her Toronto Sketchfest takeover literally minutes before all this happens. Let's get to the show. Welcome to the Corona Shift, the podcast that asks performers how they're getting by when the bars are all closed and the shows are all canceled. I'm Alice Rose, and joining me today is the one and only Selena Vyle.
Hey!
Hey, so glad to have you.
What's up, Corona people?
Corona people, I love that. Yeah.
I don't know if we should be saying that, but I said it.
Well, it's happening now, yes. Oh
Yeah,
my God. Yeah, Corona people, we'll make it a thing. I love it.
that's right. Break the stigma.
Yeah. So you are our absolute first guest.
What
Congratulations.
an honor.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you
an
for
honor
having
for
me.
me to have you on the show as our first guest. I'm a
Oh,
huge fan. I'm in love with you. I think you're great.
stop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was such an honor to work with you and an honor to have you here. First question, I need to know, how are you doing? How's the situation?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm actually doing quite well in isolation. So here's the thing is that right before this all happened, my doctor, I've been going to see him for exhaustion. And he was all like, you need to slow down your lifestyle. Like, you cannot go at the rate that you're going. You need to slow down, eat better, exercise. And that's just not anything that's in my vocabulary. Like, I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, you don't tell
Um,
Selena Vyle to slow
yeah,
down. Yeah.
you can't stop this train. So now we're all forced to slow down. And it
Mm-hmm.
has been heavenly. I have really enjoyed being able to sleep for more than 4 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I have enjoyed being able to rest and do nothing and turn my brain off. So I've been doing quite well.
That's awesome. That's really good to
Yeah,
hear. I've been also, so like, this is, what are we, like, day 12 of isolation for most people? I don't
sure.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working from home for about a month now. So
Okay.
this is how I want it to be. Like, this is how I wanted to set up.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
um, I had high expectations of like showering every day and
Mm-hmm.
doing more outside than taking my dog out. But
Mm-hmm.
this is really good and it's conducive to the kind of work that I'm doing now. So I'm really excited. Um,
Oh, what is the work you're doing now?
I'm doing the podcast. I'm not really
Mm-hmm.
producing live shows right now, but I'm working on shows in the future.
Yeah.
Working on a talk show, doing a lot of cool
Fun.
writing projects. And yeah, I have an article coming out today for CBC on
Nice.
sort of the same topic that this podcast is about. So it's about how to support
Right.
comedians during the crisis.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and that's sort of what caused this podcast to happen. So
Yeah.
I had some really cool interviews with people, and I thought this could be a thing. We could have really interesting conversations about that.
Yeah. Do
Um,
long form.
yeah, but enough about me. So tell me, because all of those things are happening, and yeah, I'm doing like 9 to 5 work from home, and it's a lot of side gigs and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
tell me a bit about you, about your career. What do you do?
Oh my goodness, my career has seen many different facets. I studied musical theater almost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that for many years. Did cabaret, did children's theater, I did a lot of that stuff. And then moved into the world of comedy, specifically improv and sketch,
Mm-hmm.
almost 10 years ago. And then discovered musical comedy, musical improv, musical sketches. I've been doing a lot of musical stuff. And then 2 years ago, I became a drag queen. So that's been kind of like my full time gig of late.
Right. And you're the hardest working drag queen in Toronto.
I mean, people say this, but like there are some very hardworking drag queens out there
That's
who I'm not going to
true.
say are harder working than me, but they are equally as hardworking as I.
That's true. It's a tough racket. It's something that will take up a lot of your time, and
Yeah,
it's a huge investment.
the thing with being like comedy versus drag is that like in improv, I would just show up. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have to have anything planned. I wouldn't have to prepare anything. You just show up and you do it on the day, literally.
Hmm.
And but like in drag, there's so much like first of all, getting ready for a show takes a couple hours before the show even starts.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and then you are constantly hustling and finding your next gig. And like you try to have your month planned in advance. Um, and you try to get booked to all the bars, you try to get booked for special events. And you have to come up with brand new numbers. You have to like rehearse with dancers. You have to meet with your hair designer and your costume designer and your like whoever's. I mean, I'm not going to say anybody helps you with your makeup. I had a lot of help in the beginning, but there's just so many facets to it. And you have to be
Mm-hmm.
so specific about your style and who you are so people can really identify you and identify with you. So there's so much that goes into it. Photography, getting new shots all the time,
Right. And you
having an
mix your own
online
audio
presence.
too.
Yeah, I mix my own. There's some people who don't, but a lot of us do. Yeah.
Mm. Hmm.
Hmm.
So that's a huge time crunch for sure.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, all of those tasks, all of those jobs pretty much require a stage. Those are things that require like a live audience and a bar to go to. So
Absolutely.
how has this isolation impacted you?
Yeah, it's ruined my life. It has. No, the truth is that yes, I'm happy to not be working right now. I'm happy that we're all forced to not be working right now, but there is so much creativity that's being stifled right now.
Hmm.
Um, because like whenever I go on a stage, like I'm just living my life up there. And right now, I feel like I'm not really living. Like I'm turning my brain
Hmm.
off, which yay, I do need. But however, I do want, like, I thrive on it, and I crave it. So there's no income coming in right now because that's pretty much the only way we can make money is by being in a bar and being on stage. But right now, what a lot of queens are doing is they are putting on live shows. They're going on Instagram Live. They're pinning their email addresses and their PayPal information so people can tip them virtually. Because a lot of our fans are people who are salaried workers, so they have money right now that they do want to share with the people who bring them joy. So
Hmm.
people have been very generous with us, um, and they drag queens are coming up with really creative ways to still put their content out there. It's really interesting to see how people are just like immediately gravitating towards the internet and like putting on shows on Twitch and on um, Patreon and other types of platforms where you can make money as well.
Yeah, I
I
love
can't.
that.
I'm in a sticky situation where I can't do any of that because I decided to ride out this isolation period with my parents in Ottawa. So
Hmm.
I'm living with them in their tiny apartment where they can hear everything I do,
Oh
and they don't
no.
know I'm a drag queen. So like I'm living
What?
this. Yeah, they don't
Oh my.
know. Like it's like my parents are immigrants and they're old and they we don't even talk about the fact that I'm gay. Like I think my mom knows, my dad doesn't, but we don't ever talk about it. It's just something
Hmm.
that's like unspoken in my household, which like I'm fine with. I don't really care, but like when I'm living with them, it's really hard to like
Yeah,
not be
absolutely.
100%
Because
myself.
right, and then you have to segment that as well. I totally get that. My mom doesn't know I'm a woman, and she gave birth to me. So no,
When's the last time you saw
no,
her?
no, that's a joke. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
My mom's super supportive, and I'm so
I
lucky to have
believed
her.
you. Because we're not all close with our parents. Like we're not all like there's some
Yeah.
people who don't ever see their parents, or some people who don't get along with their parents at all, who have no relationship with them. So I believed you.
Hmm. No, I get that, and that was a terrible joke to make.
No.
No, yeah, I'm really fortunate. Like my mom has really embraced me and she loves, like, I think she has more of a problem with me living in Toronto than being trans or queer or
Right.
a comedian or any of those things. She just wants me to be safe. You know, she's
Right.
like, is that the right city for you? Because like stabbings happen. I'm like, we're from Sudbury, so like northern Ontario.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. I would think
And
it's more safe to be in a big city where there are more people
fewer
who are like
guns.
yeah,
Yeah. And more people who are LGBTQ. Yeah, like we have a community
exactly.
here.
A much bigger community here.
So yeah, she's had the chance to come down and sort of see how I live and feel the
Hmm.
city, and she's coming around. I like it.
Hmm.
But anyways, you were talking a little bit about drag queens and being creative. I'm sorry you don't
Yeah.
really get to do that by like getting out there online, but I am seeing it's so cool to see all this content. People putting on drag performances, and it's really unconventional, and it's in different spaces, and people doing lip syncs like out of drag and showing those elements, and then makeup tutorials and everything. Like people are just putting everything online right now. And I see that in comedy a lot too. Like people are doing live streams of everything, whether it's cooking or like telling jokes or petting their dog, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really cool sort of side effect of the isolation, is that creative people and performers still need an outlet. Um, and they're finding those outlets online.
Yeah.
Obviously, that sort of impacts the way they approach their art. Do you think that this could have a longer lasting change in how drag performers and how you yourself, now that we're forced to sort of be online only, do you think that could continue in the future?
I don't know. I wonder what it's going to be like when the bars open back up again, because I think we're all itching to get back to the bars. Like we just want to connect with people again, because as great as it is to put online content, there's nothing like immediate response from the audience. Like having your audience right in front of you who are calling out requests and who are cheering for you. Because you can't hear anything when you're alone in your bedroom. You can see the comments, but the comments don't even come up in real time. The comments are like delayed on your end when you're the one streaming.
Yeah, and they're like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, which I don't understand. You think they have that figured out by now, but
right? It's just text. Like it's just comments.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
who knows? Maybe there's a reason. Yeah, so it's definitely like something is missing from that, and I feel that too as a comedian. I've been asked to do like to be in my living room doing stand up for a live stream. And I've done it a little bit, but there's no comparison. Like both drag and stand up, they're very, very similar, and they come from similar roots, of course, in vaudeville. Vaudeville and burlesque, but those are both art forms that are so well, tell me what the audience means to you.
Oh, the audience is the best. Like I could get up, and I often do shows for like 3 people. But like it means so much to those 3 people. Like you really see in their eyes, and you see like immediately how excited they get when a song that means a lot to them plays, or when they hear a song they've never heard before, but they see your performance of it and they're like, I love that song. What is it? And just bringing that kind of joy to them. And a lot of people have told me after my shows how just like that they feel my power, that they just like feel so empowered after seeing me perform. And I think a lot of people feel this way about drag queens. This is why drag queens are so popular right now, is because people are discovering that we do bring that kind of like joie de vivre and like excitement to people's lives. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And without the audience, like, yeah, you can perform, you can show makeup tutorials, but it's really not the same. And I can relate to
feed
that
off the energy.
Yeah, we feed off the energy. We cater our act to audiences. And yeah, there's that interaction that's completely lost online. Yeah, so maybe this is just a temporary fix. This is just something that I'm seeing a lot of in stand-up, that there are avenues for performers to explore other mediums, but drag is something that's so intimate and so performance based that
I feel the same with stand-up though. Like you need the laughs for stand-up. You know what I mean? Like if you're not getting an immediate laughter right back at you, it like you're basically bombing, right? Like
what the fuck's the point? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why even do this if we're not going to get the indulgence of that immediate gratification? Yeah.
Like sketch comedy is different because you can write a sketch and film a sketch.
Right. And sketch is written in sort of a way where you write it and you workshop it in a vacuum, and then you put it out there for audiences, where stand-up is not. I write all of my material on stage, and I polish that over time. And I know a lot of drag performers do that as well. Yeah. So this is definitely a very difficult time, and I know a lot of our outlets aren't aren't available to us, and financially, like you said, your income is completely disappeared now.
Completely.
Completely. But obviously you have a huge following. You have a lot of audiences who love you and want to see you come back. Until that's possible, can you tell us a little bit what you think audiences can do to help support you or help support drag queens?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a spreadsheet going around with all the Toronto drag performers, not all of them, but like whoever has added themselves to it. There's like I think there's over 100 now of local performers who have put their email addresses and PayPal information there for online tips if you want to virtually tip us and help support us while we're out of work when we would be doing shows right now.
Yeah.
That spreadsheet exists on my Facebook. So if you go to Selena Vyle on Facebook, you'll find that somewhere in my timeline. I guess I'll repost it once this goes up so people can find it easily.
Yeah, repost it and I'll find it and share it on the podcast site as well.
Yeah. And follow as many local drag queens as you can, because like follows do mean so much to us. Just knowing that our network keeps growing and that people care about what we're doing. And a lot of us are posting ways that you can help us right now. Like, for instance, there's a photographer called Christy Boyce, and she shot a lot of incredible photographs of Toronto drag performers. And she's currently running a promotion where she's discounting certain prints of certain performers, and the profits are being split 50-50 between her and the performer. So she's taking half and then we're getting half.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another big takeaway from this is that like, not only are we finding creative ways to get like create content and stay relevant, but we're getting so much support from other people and we're finding opportunities to support one another. And that's so beautiful. I love that. That's what I love most about this community of performing artists in Toronto, especially, is that we're all so close knit and we're here to help each other and we're going to get through it together.
Yeah, we've really been coming together and it's been amazing.
Yeah. Wow. That's all I had for like scripted questions.
Ooh, script now.
Any predictions on how long this will last?
I think it could be 3 months. It could be longer. I don't think it's just a 2-week thing. I don't even think it's a 2-month thing. I think it's going to be a while because we haven't even peaked yet in Canada. I think we've done a great job of controlling it here. Like, yes, people have been very stupid and been going out on the streets and like going out to parties and stuff, but a lot of people haven't, and a lot of people have isolated themselves. And there are always going to be those stupid people, but as long as like the smart ones stay away, then the smart ones will survive. You know what I mean?
Right. As long as the majority of us do our work, then it will flatten the curve, as they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, we will get to an end. But
the US is so close to us, and the fact that they have already surpassed China and Italy in the amount of cases that they've had.
Okay, I'm watching these numbers and it's ridiculous.
It's insane. And I don't think we're even in the top 10 yet. Like, we're still...
Yeah, we're still really, really low.
Yeah.
I checked yesterday because I'm psychotic. But
no, you're staying informed.
I've just been watching, and yeah, the US is so scary right now. Yeah, it's so scary that we share a border. I don't
know.
Yeah, and I just read earlier that the US is sending military to the Canadian border.
For what? To keep us out of... We don't want to go there. What is it like? What are they thinking?
Like, it should be the other way around.
Yeah.
I think that's like, we should be sending military troops to the border just to keep them out, just so that they know how it feels to be like the country that wants to get out, you know?
Yeah.
The country that, like, how does it feel to be the one who wants to cross a border to get somewhere safer?
Yeah, right. But the thing is, the people who do want to escape and do want to go somewhere safe are not the people who are stupid. Like, it's the ones, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the ones who...
Right. It's the ones who are stuck in this broken system and want to get out. So unfortunately, it's the wrong people learning those lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Selena Vyle, the voice of reason. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, do you have, so far, do you have any, like we were talking about how there are always going to be those stupid people. Do you have any
Yes.
like horror stories? Is anything?
No, I haven't personally witnessed anything crazy. Everyone I know has been really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a few people have gone out shopping, which like I've gone out shopping just for necessities and stuff. Like I just went to Booster Juice because I realized I'm malnourished. Um, but no, everyone like people in my circle and people I've been observing have been pretty good. But like you've seen the Queen's University students partying on St. Patrick's Day. You've seen the spring breakers in Miami being like, I'm not giving up my spring break.
Yeah, if I get
Um,
coronavirus, I get coronavirus. It's like it's
yeah.
not that simple. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I know, I know. I had a scare yesterday. So
What was
this was
yesterday? What happened?
yesterday I had to leave the house to go to a Service Canada and get like I need my money
Uh-huh.
to try to figure something out. So it was my first
Uh-huh.
time on a streetcar in 9 days.
Oh, okay.
And everything was fine going on the way there, but on the way
Yeah.
back, there was somebody. I got on the streetcar, and somebody else got on after me, and they were obviously mentally unwell. And you,
Uh,
yeah, and you could tell he had like a sinus problem because he was
uh,
like sniffling and wiping his nose, but then he was sitting on every seat,
oh,
and he would get up and walk down the streetcar and then like sit on another seat, and he's wiping and touching his face and then touching everything else like the bars and all of these things.
wow.
And I'm just like, I've become so agoraphobic. For the first half
Mm-hmm.
of this, I was like, it's just a flu. What's the worst that could happen? But almost overnight, I was like, no, we have to sanitize anything that comes into the house. You just spray it with Lysol. I've gone overboard with it. So just
Yeah.
watching this, I'm like hyperventilating watching him, and he's approaching me and he's coming up closer to me. And I hate that I said it, but I told him, "Can you please keep your distance?"
Uh-huh.
Um, and you could
Yeah.
tell that he couldn't understand, like he was taking it
Oh,
personally, and it broke my
yeah.
heart
Yeah.
because like one part of me is like people like deserve basic human respect, but on the other hand, like I don't want to catch anything,
Right.
and I wish there was a way to inform him, like if you don't touch your face and touch the streetcar, that's a bad thing to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then he left, and somebody else got on the next stop with a box of. I'm just ranting now, but like he had French fries. He had like a bag of French fries.
Uh-huh.
And he had this curious little French fry eating habit where he would bite the tip of the French fry off and then spit it onto the floor of the streetcar.
What?
In our time of crisis, he's spitting tips of French fries onto the floor of the streetcar. And I'm like, we're all doing the work, but we're still doomed after that.
Okay, you know who the real heroes are? The people who have to clean public spaces.
Oh my God, yes. People who have to clean public spaces,
Yeah.
cashiers at grocery stores.
Yes.
These people are frontline heroes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I know there are people who their service, and especially people who like in other times of crisis wouldn't be um, an immediate service, like a
Uh-huh.
necessary service. And these are people who are getting paid not great money to
Mm-hmm.
go to work every
Although, like,
day.
good on Gail and Weston at Loblaws and Shoppers, where they're upping everybody's pay by
Yeah.
15%.
Mm-hmm. Which is like a hazard pay because that's obviously what this is.
Yeah.
Because they
And
have to take
fuck
extra
you to
precautions.
Amazon and Jeff Bezos, who's asking for donations to support his staff. I'm like, you're a
What?
billionaire.
What?
Jeff,
Really?
yeah. Yeah. Ask for donations.
Wow. Poor Jeff Bezos in this time. He's who
Yeah,
my
you
heart
just
really goes out to in all of this.
just last month he bought two multi-million-dollar homes because he couldn't decide which one he wanted. So he bought them both. Like, you can pay your goddamn staff.
I can't believe this. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. That's been Selena Vyle, everybody. Thank you so much for this conversation. This was so much fun. And we did it. 1 episode. Yay!
Congrats on your first episode.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you again.
All right. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's our show, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you want a little more Selena, you can find her on social media. She's on Instagram at Selena Vyle with a Y. Next week, we're talking to the very funny and charming Greg Brown. He's the producer of the amazing YouTube series ASAP Science. And that's all for this week. We did it. Show number 1. I'm Alice Rose, and this has been The Corona Shift.